So we're going to be dealing with the most famous of these palaces, the palace at Knossos. And this is the legendary home to King Minos, and the largest of the palace structures. And here's one of the floor plans. There are different floor plans because the very complex nature of this structure means that we still have problems interpreting it. It's believed to be constructed around two long corridors, a north-south corridor and an east-west corridor. Although as we look at it now, those are difficult to see. The reason is it, of course, continues to build up over time. We're looking at a palace that builds up over a couple of hundred years or more. And we see complex elevation. In other words, this is not a one-story structure. In fact, we see as many as 3 stories around the central court. And they're enclosed spaces that will basically cover and shelter stairways and hallways so that you can move around while staying dry even if it's raining outside. Other large areas are open to the air, like we see on the right. They have a drainage system created with terracotta pipes, which would be necessary when you figure the size of the roof that would be on this. You wouldn't want all that water sitting up there. And we see what are called Minoan columns. And this is the first time we're getting into sort of the style of a column, although I won't test you on it. This Minoan column, we see it's sort of got this crushed onion capital on it, and it has no base. So there's nothing at the bottom of it as it transitions into the flat space beneath. The walls are basically built of field stone, in other words, whatever stone they can find around. And they use ashlar masonry because of earthquakes around doors, windows, and corners. And the beauty of ashlar masonry is because you're not attaching the stones to one another. In an earthquake, each stone moves a little instead of the entire structure moving a lot. Something we could really think about. And here's another part of the palace at Knossos. And you can see that field stone. It looks like the stones that you see in farmers' fields or creating, simple rock walls along various farm fields, even in, mostly southern Wisconsin. You can imagine them mortaring those all together and creating this generation over generation, constantly aggrandizing the palace. And you can imagine the idea of if you're unfamiliar with the palace, that there could be some kind of deranged half-man, half-bull monster wandering the halls when you're not watching.